The Golden Knights take on the Cal 2, 3 Gary Flames tonight at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. It's been 8 games since Coach Bruce Cassidy put the lines in a blender. Has the line blender been good for everybody? We'll have our locks of the night and predictions for tonight's Golden Knights Flames matchup on today's edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Good morning, everybody. Chris Skollick here, Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Another solo run as Tony wraps up a couple days of travel. And quick shout out to Tony. Normally, guys, I roll out of bed about 6:15, 6:20, pour some coffee, put up a graphic, and we start recording. Without Tony, Tony's the quarterback of the show. And now I got all these papers in front of me, all these advertisements I got to read. So a lot more prep. So, Tony, you're missed. Look forward to having you back on Wednesday, brother. Today's edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights is brought to you by Sleeper. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All right, here we go. It's game day, Golden Knights fans. The Golden Knights take on the Cal 1, 2, 3 Gary Flames. Last time I'm going to do that. Golden Knights will take on the Flames tonight at T-Mobile Arena. Traditionally, the Golden Knights have had their way with the Flames in home matchups. The Golden Knights are an astounding 8-1 lifetime at home against the Calgary, against the Flames. They've done pretty well against the Flames. In honor of Tony not being here, we'll start off by saying the Flames played last night. They played a game against the Colorado Avalanche, so the Golden Knights got them on the tail of a back-to-back. I know what Tony's saying right now, should he decide to watch today's podcast. The Flames rolled out goaltender Dan Vladar against the Avalanche yesterday. That's kind of a surprise because Vladar was the second coming of Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur, and inserts any all-time goaltending great here the last time these two teams met. So we'll start with the goaltending matchup. It looks like the Golden Knights will get Wolf. Wolf is a rookie who's been playing most of his season with the Wranglers in the American League. The Silver Knights actually just saw Wolf. We see him about 2 weeks ago. And Wolf is a good goalie. He's very mobile, moves the puck really well, very good puck handling skills. As far as on the season, Wolf has 4 appearances, sporting a save percentage of .900, a .304 goals against. So we'll see how that translates as far as if the Golden Knights can crack the presumed starter in Wolf for the Calgary Flames. It's going to drive people nuts. I'm sorry, but I have to do it. It's in the contract. All right, so looking at the Flames' last couple of games, they played the New Jersey Devils on the 9th, lost 2-4, and then they lost 6-5 last night in Colorado against the Avalanche. So the Golden Knights keep finding themselves in these circumstances where they're getting teams around back-to-backs or they're the team on the back-to-back. Rewinding back to the game against the Sharks on Sunday, Golden Knights were a little sleepy to start that one. Patera let in. It wasn't a great goal. It wasn't a bad goal, but it might have been a wake-up call, I guess. I don't know how you want to look at that. But oddly enough, the Golden Knights kind of seemed to find their legs as that game progressed when the team that's usually on the tail of the back-to-back has a slower start. And they kind of just get a little sleepier as the game goes on, but the Golden Knights actually got a little bit stronger. Flames in a weird spot. They're giving up a lot of goals right now, coming in off the back-to-back. Tony, every time I say back-to-back, it's for you, Tony. Back-to-back, back-to-back, back-to-back. A good friend of mine, I believe it was Ray, reminded me that the Edmonton Oilers still have not played a back-to-back this season yet, Tony. So there's another one for you. Looking on the Golden Knights side of things, have to assume, unless something different comes out at practice today, have to assume that the Golden Knights are going to have Logan Thompson back in net for the starts. Logan's been doing just fine over the last few games in the absence of Aiden Hill, and kind of still an odd situation. Aiden Hill started out, being pulled from the game against the Vancouver Canucks about 2 weeks ago now for precautionary measures. Hasn't been on game ice since then. Don't know if he's been at home skating or not, but we know at least he has not had any game activity or a practice since being pulled for precautionary reasons. Good question for today's practice. If I decide to go, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, or maybe after the game and the post game will be, hey, is Aiden Hill still out for precautionary reasons, or did precautionary become something else? But Logan Thompson has been doing a fine job carrying the mail since. Looking at some points updates for the Golden Knights right now. Eichel, 32 points, 12 goals, 20 assists. Eichel is absolutely a machine right now. If his health can hold up, he's pacing right around, 88 to 92 points, which is, I think, exactly where myself and Tony had Eichel finishing the season. And listen, Eichel could get hot, and who knows, maybe he'll get 50 goals. We'll talk about that a little bit later during one of our ad reads. William Karlsson, he's going to make an appearance in the second segment as well when we talk about the line blender, but 26 points, 29 games. Mark Stone, this might be the quietest 25 points I can recall seeing for the captain in 29 games. I mean, Mark Stone doesn't score razzle-dazzle goals, but he scores goals in the right place at the right time. But 17 assists. 17 assists. And I got a feeling the longer he's up on that top unit with Jack Eichel, those assists might continue to mount. Marchessault leads the team in goals with 14, but just 6 assists. I say just 6 assists. Marchessault did spend a large portion of the season on that top line with Jack Eichel. And when the top line was Eichel, Marchessault, and Barbashev, it didn't seem to be clicking as much. Again, we're jumping to the second segment. If Tony's critiquing this podcast, he'll be yelling at me for crossing the streams here. So that's a quick look at the Golden Knights point updates. Talk about the Flames for a little bit here. Let's see if we can find something interesting to key in on. Nazem Kadri leads the Flames with 20 points, 7 goals, 13 assists. Blake Coleman's got 18 points. Elias Lindholm, 17. Mackenzie Weegar, 16. Rasmus Anderson also has 16. Maj Depane, 15. Jonathan Huberdeau, he was, I guess you can say, the subject of a slightly controversial trade from the Florida Panthers. Controversial in the fact that he necessarily wasn't in the loop of it and called his general manager with a couple of choice words after it happened. Well, two teams in opposite directions. Florida Panthers obviously represented the Eastern Conference in last year's Stanley Cup, and the Flames on the outside looking in for the playoffs. As far as the standings go, Golden Knights 43 points. For the first time in a long time, the Golden Knights actually lead the Pacific, not just in points, but in points percentage. The Kings are sitting at a 720 points percentage and 36 points. Golden Knights got a 741 points percentage and 43 points. The Kings have still played 4 less games than the Golden Knights. So very kind of strange circumstance, not an excuse, a very strange circumstance in the schedule with the gap in the games played for the two teams. But on the plus side, the Golden Knights have banked points, whereas the Kings now still have to earn points. So maybe it's a strange circumstance in the schedule, but it's actually working out now in favor of the Golden Knights. As far as other important factors for tonight's game, don't overlook the opponents. Flames on paper don't necessarily pose a large challenge, but you never know. The Flames, the one time they did beat the Golden Knights, I think it was last season, it was a blowout fashion, like 7-2, just one of these wacky games that really nobody saw coming. All right, that's going to take care of the preview. Stay with us. We're going to talk about the line blender. It's been about 8 games since Coach Cassidy put him in the blender, shook things up, and how has the team been doing, and which Golden Knights are doing well as a result of the line blender. Stay with us, Golden Knights fans, on Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities. Eichel could score 50 goals. Never know, never know. The Golden Knights could hoist the Stanley Cup again, and you can win big by playing Daily Fantasy Hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our number one choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. What players would you take this week to win 100 times your money? You could also play daily NFL, NBA, MLB, college football fantasy contests on Sleeper. Entries can be made in just under 1 minute. All you got to do is pick studs like Carlson, Marchessault, Eichel. If they'll record more or less in their Sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and more in any given game. To win 100 times your bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code Locked On NHL. You can get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's Locked On NHL. See Sleeper's terms for use and details and locational availability. Welcome back, Golden Knights fans. Chris Golick on a solo run. Tony is out traveling. We'll have him back tomorrow. As we started the show, he's certainly missed as I got all these papers in front of me. We're doing ad reads. So I've been the other guy for the last a year and a half of this pod. Now I'm doing some real work, and now I'm really starting to appreciate Tony a little bit more. So Tony will be back tomorrow. You guys can get back to throwing things at your computer screens and such when Tony screams things like rigged and bad ice and William Karlsson does nothing but score empty net goals. Now, I didn't say that. Those are Tony things, so let's be clear about this. All right, everybody. It has been 8 games since Coach Cassidy put the lines in a blender. The first game this happened, actually, was against the Flames on the road. That actually was not a good game for the Golden Knights. They lost that game 2-1, but the scoring chances were there. Just Dan Vladar found a way to stop anything and everything. I don't know if it's thankfully, but the Golden Knights should not end up seeing Vladar as the Flames run it back-to-back, and Vladar played last night's game. So we'll see how that goes. So in 8 games since the Golden Knights, since Coach Cassidy put the lines in a blender, the team is 5-0-3. 5-0-3. Right there. If that's not enough for you to appreciate Coach Cassidy and his read on the team, that's give Coach Cassidy some props. Before we talk too deep about individual stats, so the way the lines are looking right now, basically Stone and Marchessault have switched positions, number one. You have Stone on the top line with Eichel and Barbashev, and then you have Marchessault with Steven and Howden on the second line. Third line, Carlson, Cotter, and Amadio. So have all these lines been clicking? Have individual players been performing well as a result of the line change? Well, I can tell you the Golden Knights scored 31 goals for an average of 3.875 goals per game. 3 goals usually is going to be enough to get you at least a point in the NHL level. In 8 games, Golden Knights scored 31 goals and nearly 4 goals per game. Pretty good. Ivan Barbashev, that's where we're going to start. So since the lines have been shaken up a little bit, Barbashev only has 1 goal. Okay, fine. But he's got 5 assists. The reason that stands out to me is because we talked a lot about the top line of Eichel, Marchessault, and Barbashev not necessarily clicking. The special teams side of things for some of those players was working just fine. But 5-on-5, the old top line, we'll call it, was not necessarily getting the job done, I guess. Let's just call it what it is. The top line was struggling a little bit. Since Mark Stone has gone up there, things have changed. So now what you have is Ivan Barbashev. He's got all the space, right? Mark Stone does a great job creating time and space. He also gets to the dirty areas, maybe even a little bit better than Barbashev. Stone is really good from the bumper and close in. So you have Stone creating some time and space, maybe more or less space. Jack Eichel is creating the time, because how many times have we seen this? Jack Eichel does a blue line entry, skates the puck in himself, takes a look around, decides to skate behind the net because there's not a good pass that he likes. Takes it to the top of the blue line. So now you have the defense, the other two forwards all looking around to get open. And eventually Eichel is either going to get a good quality shot off or he's going to make a pass to a forward in a plus position. So now you have all this chaos happening around the net with Mark Stone being in position. Barbashev is finding soft areas around the ice where he is all alone. I tweeted this out probably around the second period against the Sharks game. You just saw Barbashev without a lot of teal around him. So let's see if he can keep the white and red off of him tonight and maybe get a point or two. Chandler Stevenson, just 4 goals since the line blender, but more importantly, he's got 2 goals in the last 2 games. Goal scoring is streaky. Goal scoring is fluky. Stevenson was throwing everything he had for a while and wasn't going in. And then Stevenson just uses his foot to deflect a puck in the net and gets a power play goal against the Sharks. So 4 points, 8 games since the blender for Stevenson. Is that a concern? I don't know. I think we'll maybe judge Stevenson on like the next 6 to 10 games instead of the past 10 games or so. Amadio's been floating around a little bit. Amadio even went as high as the second line center when Stevenson was out for a while prior to the blender. So why that matters is Ammo's been around the lineup a little bit. It takes some time to adjust. Even if you played with the line for a really long time, it takes time to adjust. But that said, Amadio has 5 points in these last 8 games. So better than a point per every other game basis. Where's my Golden Knights stats here? I want to see if Amadio is still pacing for about 40 points. Michael Amadio, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points, 28 games. He's pacing pretty close to like 42, 43 points, which would be a career best for Mike Amadio. Paul Cotter. Paul Cotter struggling, guys. There's no other way to say that. Paul Cotter was fortunate to break his goal-scoring drought against the Dallas Stars. He even had a fun little celly where he kind of like pushed the elephant off his back, that type of thing going on. Cotter's dad even caught that and talked about it in the post-game reports. Good to see Cotter get a goal, but he's got 4 points in the last 8 games. Cotter does a lot of other things, though, that you're not going to see on the score sheet. Cotter might be the most aggressive Golden Knight in the corners, winning those puck battles, winning those stick battles. The only concern about Cotter may be his trips to the penalty box and stuff like that. But if Cotter can keep his cool and avoid taking unnecessary penalties, you're going to take penalties. It's part of the game. It happens, but unnecessary penalties. And Cotter has the type of pedigree where as long as he's keeping himself out of the box, he will have a spot in Coach Cassidy's lineup every single day because no one finishes checks harder than Cotter. And I don't think anyone is even more aggressive than Cotter on puck battles. So be nice to see Cotter scoring a little bit more, sure, but as long as he's doing the other things right, it doesn't matter what line he's on. William Karlsson has also found himself second line center, third line center, even put on the wing every now and then. It's kind of interesting, but Coach Cassidy likes to, as he states, stay in the present and make changes based on game flow. So Karlsson, as a result, has been moved up to get more visibility in the lineup at times, especially when the Golden Knights need a goal late if they are down, which really hasn't happened a whole lot over the last 8 games since this line blender started. But William Karlsson has 6 points in 8 games since the line blender. 3 goals, 3 assists. If you go back a couple more games, though, Karlsson didn't have any points for like the 2 or 3 games prior to that. So Karlsson maybe has, I don't want to say come back down to reality, but that might be the way we're going to have to say that. Karlsson currently sits at 26 points, 29 games, but he was right around a point per game pace and has slowed down a little bit. Is it a bad thing? I don't think so. I mean, the Golden Knights are 5-0-3 since Coach Cassidy did shake the lines up. So if the negative, if you'll have it, is Karlsson's scoring pace slows down a little bit, but the 5-on-5 play is good and the special teams play is fine, I don't think we have a whole lot to complain about. So long story short, I think the line blender has been good for nearly everybody. Most of the players affected. We don't need to talk about Eichel and Marchessault and Stone. They're all crushing it right now, obviously. I would like to see Barbashev's numbers continue on the current pace. Stevenson, hopefully, if he can find a way to increase his pace. Amadio keep up with his pace. Cotter could use a little bit of a boost right now, but as long as he keeps doing the little things right, he'll be just fine. And of course, William Karlsson, as long as he's got that good 5-on-5 play and that just crazy penalty kill with Jack Eichel, things will be just fine. All right, folks, that's going to do it for the Line Blender. Up next, we have our locks of the night and predictions. Chris and Allie, I think, will be making an appearance, hopefully. If not, we're going to have to fluff our way through the final segment. So stay here, Golden Knight fans. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and leveled up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. Like that. With all parts you need at prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Coffee break. Welcome back, everybody. Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Folks, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel that's Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Please also make sure to check us out Monday through Friday. We do, you guys come on each side of the shoulders, each side. We got a bigger screen. We got more real estate to work with. Make sure you check out the Monday through Friday edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. That's with myself and Tony, audio and YouTube. And then me and the other guy. Wait, that's the other guy. Wrong side. It's opposite. Me and Christopher, Saturday for the Chris and Chris show. All right, Allie, we're starting with you. You shocked the world, Allie. Allie shocked the world. Who are your picks on Sunday, Allie?
I'm 42 nights. I'm Stone and Carlson.
And that's what you called on Sunday. What do you call every game, Allie? What do you call every game? Nice bedhead, by the way. Nice. Just rolled out of bed right to the podcast. All right. So who do you always pick for your locks?
3-2 nights, Marchessault Stone.
3-2 nights, Marchessault Stone. For the first time in 28 games, Allie mixed it up, and she ditched Marchessault for another Golden Knights player. And Marchessault got so mad, he scored 2 goals and got a shootout goal to win the game for the Golden Knights, Allie. So I think Marchessault knew that. I don't want to say, well, I can't say that. All right, Allie, so you're going to bat leadoff. Oh, she's so nervous. She has so much. I gave her so much pressure. Look at her face right now. Allie, get close to the microphone so everybody can hear you nicely. All right, Allie, give me 2 players. Go.
I'm Barbashev and Stone.
And who?
Stone.
Barbashev and Stone. Allie shocks the world again. All right, Allie. Careful with that coffee there, buddy. All right, Allie, what's the score tonight?
2-1 Knights.
2-1 Knights. Wow, guys. Allie is shocking everybody. Thank you, Allie. You can stay if you want. Doesn't matter. All right, Christopher, you got a tough act to follow there, buddy. You got a tough act to follow there. What do you got tonight, buddy? Give me 2 players.
Eichel and Stevenson and Cole.
Stevenson, Coley, and what's the score, buddy? What's the score?
5-3 Vegas.
5-3 Vegas. All right, guys, that's some fun stuff right there. All right, so my locks for tonight, we're going to go with Stevenson and Pietrangelo. I think the Golden Knights defense is going to find a way to pot a couple goals every now and then. So Stevenson going to keep it going, 3 goals, 3 games, and Pietrangelo is going to find a way to get, I think it'll be his 2nd goal of the season. 4-1 Vegas Golden Knights. I think they'll solve the youngster and Wolf. I think the Golden Knights defense will show up. Speaking of defense, quick shout out to Korzak. Korzak is just playing such a good game right now. Obviously, in the absence of Alec Martinez, hopefully Alec Martinez can return at some point soon. But it is very fun watching Korzak, watching his game expand. So, Chris, buddy, we saw the Golden Knights or the Silver Knights play the Wranglers a while back. Remember that game?
Yeah.
So presumably the goalie for tonight's game against the Flames is going to be the same goalie we saw, Wolf. Remember that?
Yeah.
Markstrom is the Flames' starting goalie. He's out injured right now. Do you remember anything about Wolf from that game you want to talk about?
He played great.
Okay, get a little closer to the microphone. You played great. Do you remember anything about his game, like any big saves?
Lots of glove save and lots of blocker saves. Just lots of that. And who was Patera playing?
No, it's probably going to be Logan tonight. Probably going to be Logan
I'd
tonight.
say Patera versus Wolf. We got AHL goalies.
High scoring game, possibly. High scoring game. All right, we're gonna shift to Allie here for a second. We got Allie here. It's the third segment. We're off the rails. We got the family hosting the third segment right now. So, Allie, why do you always pick Marchessault? Why is Marchessault your guy?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Who's your favorite Golden Knight?
I don't know. Okay, you only have to press one.
Okay, Chris is out of here. You like Marchessault, right? Did Marchessault once talk to you on the phone?
Yeah.
Was he really nice?
Yeah.
There you go. Careful with the mouse right there. Don't hit that. Cool. Anything else you want to add to the podcast, Allie?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
No.
Can I get an angry face from you? Eye roll. Master of the eye roll. All right, Allie girl. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So just putting a bow on this one. We talked a little about the line blenders. If it was good for everybody, we previewed the game against the Flames. Had our locks of the nights and predictions. So we'll kind of see how things shake out. Just one more quick note here to talk about. Feel like it was sometime early in November where Mark Stone made a comment about it's a tough stretch for the Golden Knights, but if they get through the stretch, they're going to be fine. Whatever stretch he was alluding to, looking at the schedule here really quickly, he was right. The Golden Knights, it was after I was looking for the quote too. I don't know if it was after the Kings game early in the month where the Kings just kind of beat the Golden Knights down, or if it was even somewhere in early on in the month, like against the Blackhawks game or something like that, where Golden Knights lost in overtime. But point being is Captain Mark Stone definitely has the right read and the right pulse on things, as the Golden Knights have certainly figured things out and lead the Pacific. I mean, we can't ask for much more on December. The heck day is it? On December the 12th. All right, guys, that's going to do it for the solo Golic edition with family of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. Please make sure to check out our Twitter, which is at Locked On VGK. I'm at TD Chris G. Please make sure to check out the Monday through Friday edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. That's with myself and Tony. Catch that anywhere you get your audio or on YouTube. And then Saturday, we have the Chris and Chris edition of Locked On Vegas Golden Knights. That is a YouTube exclusive. Big shout out and thank you to all the everydayers that check this out. That's why we do this, just for all the interactions. And that's certainly what drives myself and Tony to do this show every day for y'all. So that's going to do it, guys. We'll see how the Golden Knights fare against the Flames. Thank you very much. Take care. Have a good day, everybody.